What's going on, everyone? We are back with a little bit of a variant of a farming strategy, the mindless farming strategy I put up the other day, except this one's going to get you a lot more gold. This one's going to get you a lot more dust for your ships in King's March. So hit that like button, let me know you like these build guides, or sorry, not build guides, but these mapping strategies, and let's get into it. Now for this strategy, it's going to be very similar to the other strategy I put out that is just basically running through the map, not having to really do any mechanics, and just farming and just going through killing stuff when you want to shut your brain off. The only difference in this one is we are adding possessed spirits. That is a major one, and we're going a little bit more into shrines, namely all that glitters, so you have a chance getting a covetous shrine, which is going to increase quantity and rarity of items dropped. And also gives you reduced damage taken, things like that, but mostly we want the increased quantity and rarity of the buff. Now we still go up the middle. We make sure to grab the extra additional shrine. This is going to give you more pack size. More pack size, more monsters to kill is always a good thing. We go down. I do force delirium with the Atlas nodes. You do not have to do delirium if it gets too rippy for you. We are taking the increased effect explicit modifier, so it does make maps harder. Again, like I say every video, you can take some of these points out that make the map harder. You aren't going to get as much gold or as much items dropping, but it's, you can't farm if you're dead, so don't be afraid to take some points out of that. We also force ritual. Ritual just gives you pack size. You do not want, well, you can do the ritual. I do not suggest doing it without other Atlas passives or scarabs. That is a terrible idea. It would be most likely a waste of time, unless someone said in a comment, I forget who said it, but they said if it says nameless ritual, it's guaranteed to have the invitation to fight the King of the Mists, or whatever his name is. So you might want to do those. Now, the only time you might want to do ritual is if it is in the boss room, especially if you're running something like Glacier, which is the map I'm going to suggest for a specific reason we'll bring about pretty soon. And that is just because the boss will be in the ritual, so if you do the ritual, it is going to bring the bosses back in. You're going to get even more gold and even more loot from their explosions. And then obviously you can backtrack and do all the rituals that you didn't do on the way there before you knew it was going to be in the boss room. That is not a bad idea either. If you don't want to backtrack, if you have a ton of Glacier maps or whatever map you're running, you can run this on any map, but there's a reason why everyone's saying to run Glacier, and they are correct in saying that. But no matter what map you run, you can always go through, run them back the maps to keep getting that boss spawn every time you hit a ritual, as long as the first one you did was killing the boss in the boss room and then hitting the ritual. Again, we're taking some scarab nodes, the scarab nodes up here, and then sprinkled throughout. We're down here anyways for delirium, so I get the significant troves. This is important because we're going to be really farming the unique monsters using this strategy, especially the bosses, but in general just scarabs as always, and for the rest of the league are probably going to be an amazing way of making currency and just keeping up with it. I take the cartography scarab node because of just how much I use them, especially in the beginning. When you need more maps to farm, it's good to have these scarabs so you don't have to buy them. And then obviously ambush is a lot of endgame strategy for a lot of people, so these are always 100% worth it. Should always be trapping care spaces for any strategy in general. Now for the maps, I put a bunch of favorite slots in a Glacier and then a couple of Geode. Geode's actually a really good map that I like a lot, so I ping pong in between Glacier and Geode. That is the ideal one, just because Glacier, the boss is multiple unique monsters. That's why you get such big pops. That's why people are using it, because I think it's 4 or 5 unique bosses. I think it might be the most of any map. So that is the reason. Magic monsters drop decent gold. Rare monsters drop even more gold. Unique monsters, especially with the couple of scarabs that we use, are going to drop a lot of gold. So the more unique monsters, namely the bosses of Glacier, is going to give you even more gold. Now, when you run the maps, you're going to want to run them as high as tier as you can and the highest rarity, because you want that item quantity and item rarity. Ideally, 8 mod maps are the best, but they don't have to be able to run 8 mod maps or anything like that, but you should at least be making them rare. Again, take points out of the Atlas. That makes the maps harder, or just skip the delirium if it gets too extreme for you, but generally that's what you want to do. If your build can run almost, there's only maybe 1 or 2 mods that brick your build, you can run maps rare and unidentified. Just make sure you chisel them up. Unidentified gives you, I think, a 30% quantity rarity bonus on top of everything, and there is only one mod that really bricks this build that I'm using, This is a holy relic build. It's a summoning build, so reflect, all that is good. So I run a lot of unidentified maps because the only thing that screws me over is can't regen mana. And I can still technically run it, but it's a huge pain. I usually just skip it. Now, for the scarabs you should use when you run these maps, you are going to want to at least use these two. Titanic Scarab, which is going to give unique monsters a little bit more toughness and damage, but it's also going to give them more rarity and quantity. That is pretty important. And also the Titanic Scarab of Legend, which gives them 2 additional modifiers. This is going to do well with the mod on our Atlas tree that's going to make them drop more, a chance to drop more scarabs with modifiers. But keep in mind, this also comes at the cost of making them harder. Now, there are 2 cheap Torment Scarabs that you should run. It is very cheap. It is worth it. That is just the regular Torment Scarab and the, or sorry, not 2 Torment Scarabs. 1 Torment Scarab and then the Influencing Scarab of the Elder. This is also a very cheap one. The reason we do this is because it can spawn null portals, which is in the Elder boss fight. It's just a portal that goes up that you can kill, that spawns monsters until you kill it, and they drop a lot of gold also. So that is also a big part of the strategy. Now those are the 4 I use. Sometimes every once in a while I throw a Scarab of Monstrous Lineage in there just to get 40% increased monster pack size. This is not required. Sometimes it's a little pricey. It looks like they are about, you can probably get them for 1 to 2. So not 100% necessary, but if you really want to fill that 6 map slot you have, or the 6 Scarab slot, you can do that with one of these, or you can do the one where rares have 2 additional modifiers, or just anything in general. It's kind of a wild card slot. You can put what you want in there. Also, if you can fit a gold flask in your build, you should. Now, I'm going to get more gold than the average person because I have a mage blood and I can use a gold flask with increased rarity of items found, really jacked up because of the increased effect that mage blood gives me the ability to use. But if you can fit a gold flask in and just go to your crafting bench and throw used when charges reach full, or used at the end of flask effect, just remember you have to turn it on once you get in the map. That is going to help you get some more rarity. You can also get increased rarity of items found during effect as an enchant on one of your flasks as well to really boost up that gold find. But again, not 100% necessary. You're still going to get a lot of gold from the strategy. I run Domination on the map device. You can run Anarchy or Torment or any, the Rogue Exiles, Tormented Spirits. Anarchy probably gives you more gold. Domination is 3 chaos. The Anarchy one can make the maps even a little tougher. So it really depends on your build. Play around with it. I think 3 chaos for 3 additional shrines is great, giving us more pack size and also giving us a better chance of getting a covetous shrine, which is going to give us a little bit more rarity and quantity. Run Searing Exarch so you can get the quantity nodes if it has a mod that is easy for you to run and doesn't brick you. For example, I have the Pantheon that gives me immunity to Burning Ground. So if there's ever one that increases quantity and rarity, an altar that is, and it says they drop Burning Ground, I don't care. That is literally free. So always good, even though we're not taking a ton of Atlas points in it. Do run something like Searing Exarch, or you can even run Eater of Worlds if you want to mess with the Atlas tree a little bit and go into that. Alright, so we are going to run this map, and I am actually probably not going to hit the Delirium Mare just for the sake of, while recording a video, I am incredibly unfocused, but you would want to hit the Delirium Mare, especially if you think your build can do it, but test it out. And hit my Progenesis, you can see we're already getting a lot of gold drops, and it stacks up pretty damn quickly. A little bit of lag because obviously with pack size and the efficiency of how this game was programmed, sometimes you get a little bit of slowdown. But you are also going to get a ton of unique items, which is great if you have your Disenchant bench at King's March all set and leveled up to the max level, so you can disenchant uniques, because they disenchant very fast, faster than any other item, and even a tier 3 or tier 4 unique can give you 20 to 70,000 of the dust for it. Now, I haven't seen any of the portals yet, the Elder portals, but I'm going to keep picking up the uniques, keep picking up the gold. You can backtrack to get the little piles of gold. Always pick up unique rings and amulets that don't take a whole lot of space up in your inventory. Now we get to the arena. You will notice there is a ritual buff in here, so I am going to kill the bosses. As you can see, good gold pops, a lot of uniques. If I turn my loot filter off for a second and hit alt, so you can see all the uniques. Then after the smaller bosses, a big one comes out, and I am going to warn you, This guy hits like a truck. I am very tanky. He almost just one-shot me. And he is killing my holy relic monsters. And he killed me. You are going to want to put a town portal up there. I'm going to skip ahead in video as I run back and resummon my guys. Be very, very careful. If you are something like a holy relic that uses specters, because I have had my animate guardian die and my specters die. But because I'm filming this video, I'm a little sidetracked. Usually I would dodge his jumps a little better. I have Frostblink on there. But I'm just trying to not forget anything while I'm doing it. So that was just a blunder on my part. Alright, back at the boss, and I killed him. You can see another gold pop. You get a lot of uniques, as I've said a million times. A lot of belts, so a lot of chances to get some really great uniques. You know, Headhunter, Mage Blood, anything like that. Or just any good unique in general. There's a Joffrey's Crest. I'm going to eventually go and take these uniques, put them in the Disenchanting bench, and then come back here, pick up some more. And then you can hit the ritual, summon those bosses again, and get another large gold pop. Even without doing that, I got about 33,000. This is very much on the low end. Kind of a bad example to really show off the video. That is mostly because I did not get any null portals. You will usually get some null portals. That'll bump that up another 20, 30, 40,000. I've gotten over 100,000 using the strategy. You probably won't get quite that much on a common one, but 50, 60,000 just per map is incredibly doable. And lastly, you just take the uniques. You can price check them, see if you got anything good. Just go through, use something like Awaken POE trade. But in general, you are going to be able... Well, there's some Azanats. Might actually hold on to those. You can just throw these into the Disenchanting bench again. Highly suggest you upgrading it to the final level. You can see this one's 9,000 dust, and it is only a 2-minute timer. That's 15,000, 2,000, 2,000, 9,000. 4,000, 670, that's just a rare. That is also just a rare. If I was going to disenchant these Azanats, they were 35 dust, but I'm actually going to hold on to those or sell them pride for just the 10 chaos. But that's the strategy, guys. Again, you can run this on any map, but Glacier is the best simply because of the amount of unique bosses there are. I run Geode and Glacier, and you should be able to ping-pong in between them. And Geode is actually a pretty decent map, too. So, no problems there. So make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, let me know if there's anything that I missed. Always check the description in the comments, because in the description sometimes I leave notes, stuff someone has said to just kind of update the strategy, because I just started doing the strategy as of last night, so there could be something I missed, but I'm pretty sure I got the gist of it and the major points to get across. And I am loving the strategy. I love the gold. I love being able to do this before I go to bed, so I don't have to worry about running out of gold as my farmers and stuff and my ships are off doing their thing. But yeah, we have a Discord. Please join if you are interested in hanging out with us. The link is in the description, as well as a link to my twitch.tv/safeontalk, where I am streaming multiple times per week. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. I am not a POE professor. I know more than the average person, but I am not a huge content creator that makes builds and stuff like that. But I do like to help where I can, so get followed over there. And I think that's it, guys, so we will catch you on the next one.